Good evening. It's 6 o'clock, and this is Lombard Bros Gaming. Alan Barkley is first in. Hello, Alan. Nice to see you tonight. Wade is in live. Nice to see you, Wade. N2SC1R. Nice to see you tonight. Just waiting for people to load up. Been a long day. Brian is in. Spencer. My buddy Spencer. How are you, Spencer? Waiting to see you at Sonoma. Anything and beyond, do you like my new pick? Yes, I do. Very good. Very good. My work was great today. Can't complain. I sit in an office. The heaviest thing I pick up all day long is a pen. Air conditioning. I got people to do things for me. Can't complain. Can't complain. Makes for a good life. If you work hard, do things for your family, makes for a good life. It's nice to see people chiming in. I know it's late back east. It's already 9 o'clock, so we're going to get right at it. On the way home tonight, I was listening to qualifying from Charlotte. Want to let you know the boys are in Charlotte. Got there about 5 hours ago. Going to the race on Sunday. Looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good race at the end of a good day of racing. You know, you start early with the Monaco Grand Prix, which is always a lot of fun. If you like races where the guy who gets out first stays in first from start to finish unless he wrecks out. Other than that, there's almost no passing in that race. What's good about that race is the scenery and everything TV does with it to just make it look like it's a beautiful place, because it is. It's exciting. Big yachts, big money, beautiful cars, beautiful people. It's an interesting race to watch, especially on the West Coast when you get up at 4 a.m. to see the start. But something Joe and I do every year. We enjoy it. Take a little break, watch the Indy 500. That's always a lot of fun too. I should say a little fun. It's a lot of fun. And then we cap off the long day of racing with the Coke 600. And, you know, it's like racing crack. You know what I mean? It's just like sit in front of the TV if you love racing and you're with your friends or family that love racing. It's a great day. It's a great way to chill on a long 3-day holiday weekend. So we like that. Joe and I just get into that. It's one of our favorite days of the year. It's like right after Christmas and Thanksgiving. I guess that one's about third. So we enjoy that. Run Ronaldo says, I wish I could watch the Indy 500. Why can't you? You got a scheduling conflict or something? Or is it not being broadcast? I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Spencer says, it looks like you're doing it with just Boss Lady this year since Joseph and Zachary at Charlotte. Quite frankly, Spencer, sounds good to me because I love old Boss Lady. Otherwise, she wouldn't have been around for almost 40 years. She's been very patient with me, I gotta say. So Boss Lady and I have a great day. Enjoy the Coke 600, and it'll be great. JDM says the Coca-Cola 600 will be the longest race the Lombard Bros will ever see in person. That's correct. There is a race in Australia called the Bathurst 1000. Actually runs 620 miles. And that's in their V8 Supercar series. And it runs on this little 2-lane wide track all over this mountain. It's incredible. If you've never seen it, you got to see if you can find it. I think CBS Sport shows it. And the Bathurst 1000 coming from Australia, it is nuts. The cars go almost as fast as the Sprint Cup cars, or I should say the Monster Energy cars. And I got to tell you, it's a wild race. They do a lot of the coverage by helicopter, so there's a lot of great angles. It's a cool race to watch. Um, Bill B. Mill said, have you thought of going to the Coca-Cola 600 with Zach and Joe? Yes, I have, but I have a business. I've got a career. I've got things we got to do. I've got a family to take care of, and so when I get a chance to go to the race, we'll be going next month. We'll go to Sonoma, take a week off to do that. Beautiful up the beautiful California coast to San Francisco, beautiful city, and we'll go to Sonoma. We'll have a good time there. Wade says he's tired. Tired of what? No, I'm sure you had a busy day. Anyway, so like I said, on the way home, I'm listening to qualifying at Charlotte. If you don't know who won the pole, I'm going to tell you in about 2 seconds either, so plug your ears. Harvick won the pole. Shrubby's on the outside. Kyle Larson got caught up in the inspection line, had to go around twice, and never qualified. He's starting 39th. Points leader starting 39th. Now in a 600-mile race, yeah, he'll make it up. Wade says, I've got graduation practice in the morning. Graduation practice is cool. Last weekend, we went to a graduation on Thursday night, a graduation on Friday night, and a graduation on Saturday night, all for the same person, my grandson Jesse, who will be 18 in August. Graduated high school on Thursday night, from tech school on Friday night, and from fire training school, his first year of the fire academy, on Saturday night. And they did a live demonstration, putting out actual fires in a building, putting out a car fire. It was pretty impressive, and we're very proud of Jesse. It's a big guy, 6'4", runs about 280, very fit, and just loves the idea of being a firefighter, and I'm very proud of him. So we went to Arizona for the weekend to see that, and that was great. That was great. Somebody says, JDM says, hope Larson doesn't have handling issues, otherwise it's going to be a long race for him. That is true. That is true. And one thing that I'm not looking forward to is a repeat of last year's Coca-Cola 600, where if you watched it, you know Truex led 392 of 400 laps. The only laps he did not lead were when he was coming in and getting gas. But he led basically 24 out of every 25 laps. I mean, it's a hello. Anything beyond said, if you were a female and you had to marry Brad Kay or Kyle Busch, who would you pick? I guess they're both nice guys, but I'd probably become a nun, okay? Let's just put it that way. I'm just kidding. I'm sure they're both nice guys. You know, there are other things in life than looks, okay? I think they both have a little bit of a sense of humor. Kyle Busch has calmed down ever since he married Samantha, which I think is the best thing that ever happened to him. He's calmed down, and so I think he's pretty good. And he's become certainly more popular. He certainly doesn't get the booze he used to at the introductions. He used to get it mercilessly. Now he gets a smattering of them, and that's all right. Anyway, Brian asked me, what's it like being the dad of YouTubers? It's a lot of fun, quite frankly, because I like to see that the attention that they get. I like to see how hard they're working. Believe it or not, they are in this studio by 8 o'clock every morning till 5 o'clock. Sometimes, like last night, Joe was in here till about 8 o'clock, still editing stuff, getting ready to go on his trip. I mean, he really puts the work to it. He tries to put a lot of quality into his stuff, into his channel, into the company channel. The guys work hard. They really do. The guys work hard. So, you know, it is fun being involved in this and all. There's a lot of stuff on the internet that I think is garbage, but there's a lot of fun stuff too. So what can you say? Spencer says, possibly nice guys off the track, not so much on the track. Spencer, buddy, when it's on the track, it is every man for himself. It is dog eat dog. You have no partners. You have no alliances. It is all for you. Any racer will tell you that. Once they strap in the car, pull down the helmet and all like that. They have no teammates. It is all for them. And that's why it's not unusual every once in a while to see one teammate spin another. Makes the owners crazy, but you know what? It's every man for themselves. Spencer says 8 a.m. troopers. Spencer, buddy, 6 days a week. I'm in the office at 5 a.m. Pacific. All right, you do what you got to do if you love it. NASCAR 1 says, what positions of Chase and Ryan Blaney? They're both in the top 10. I don't know exactly what. I think 4th and 6th or 4th and 7th. But I'm not sure. Alyssa said, I sent out a package today. Well, thank you, Alyssa. We'll be expecting to see it. I hope it's not ticking and blows up. Just kidding. Just kidding. I'm sure it's very nice. Anyway, it's nice to see you tonight, Alyssa. And Wade says Saturday I have to be up around 8:30. Great. Is that your graduation day? If it is, that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Believe me, it's a day you'll always remember in your life. Just enjoy it. Sit back and chill. Let it wash over you and enjoy it. When I graduated from high school, and yes, they had high school back in my day, we graduated on the stage of the Hollywood Bowl. I went to Hollywood High School, and as kind of an exchange for the Hollywood High School students acting as ushers during the sunrise service at the Hollywood Bowl every year on Easter, we get to graduate on the stage of the Hollywood Bowl. So there I was in my blue gown and cap, sitting in the very front row. My mom could see me wearing some mirrored shades, some blue mirrored shades that matched my graduation gown because I was cool. And I actually had hair in those days. And so it was fun. It was great. It was great. Spencer says, crazy. They're in the studio by the time everyone else wakes up. That's right. They do. They do. Fun fact, Lombard, Dad, and Fred Flintstone graduated together. You're right. You're right. Actually, Fred and I used to be handball partners in PE too, right? Except we stopped being friends after he started dating Wilma. I had my eye on Wilma. Luckily, in the long run, turned out good because then I met Boss Lady and I forgot all about Wilma till right now. Thanks for dragging up that painful memory, Spencer. Well, I'll tell you what, some guys should think of your friends. Anyway. Says, speaking of packages, it was on the news in my area that someone stole from the Red Cross an iPhone in a FedEx box. That is sad. You know what? If you're stealing from the Red Cross, sooner or later, God will get you. It may not be tomorrow. It may not be next year. Sooner or later, God will get you. Lombard Dad went to prom on a dinosaur. Yeah, and? It was a good dinosaur. He didn't eat much. All right, you know those things were all vegetarians. They didn't have to feed him meat or nothing. All right. So it was a good dinosaur. Anyway, Wade says, do I remember talking to your dad a couple summers ago? Yes, I did. I did, Wade. I do remember talking to your dad. Very nice fellow. He's got a question here. It says, is it possible to start a stock car career at age 11? You know what I mean? Yeah, you got to get into the lower series first and all like that. But sure, your racing career's got to start early. Very few good racers start in their teens, like 18, 19. Every once in a while, you'll come across one. Most of them started as kids, racing go-karts. And then they move up to legend cars and midgets and things like that. Sometimes it's the family, everybody chips into the family and supports the hobby because they do it as a family. It's not unusual to see, a Blazer or something like that going down the freeway towing a Legends car or something like that on the weekend because they're going to the local dirt track, and everybody's together, mom, dad, the kids, and it's a big outing, and that's their hobby. That's what they do as a hobby. I think it's great. Families should have hobbies together. That'll be great. SBR Video says, I started in go-karts at age 12. That's about the right time. You're getting a good start. James is in tonight. James says, how are you? James, I'm terrific, and I'm just happy to be here, quite frankly. I love to do this. when the boys are out of town, I love to fill in for them. I'm going to be here tomorrow night. We're going to do the same thing at 6 Pacific, 9 Eastern tomorrow night. We'll yak some more. We'll talk some more stuff. But tomorrow night, you know what? Think about it. If you get a chance, find it online. Find the NASCAR Cup Series schedule for next year. You know, there's a lot of changes. They moved Chicagoland. They moved the Indianapolis race. They moved some other races. And the Charlotte race in the fall will be run on what they call the Roval, where half of it's on the mile and a half oval, and the other half winds through the infield, kind of like the Rolex race at Daytona early in January. So read up on that, find what you can online, and we'll talk about the schedule tomorrow night. Well, there should be some interesting things. Should be interesting. The Roval, I don't know what that's going to be like, but that'll be great. Alyssa says, I painted my nails for graduation. Good for you, right? You want to look your best, Alyssa. It is a one-of-a-kind day that, unless you graduate from college, and that's all different too, it's a one-in-a-kind day that you should remember all your life. JDM says, which color? Does it matter? I'm sure they was pretty. I'm sure it was great. And so, like I said, enjoy. Wade, you guys that are graduating this year or next year, enjoy it. It's a whole lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Brian says, have you ever been to a race out of California? No, I have not. We go to Fontana every year. We go to Sonoma every year. But like I said, I have a business. Races out of the state take 4, 5, 6 days. I really don't have the time to do that much. We for sure take our vacation to go up to Sonoma. But other than that, when you have a business, you got to take care of it. Alyssa says, silver to match our school colors. Right on. That's the school spirit. Lombard mom last week when we went to Jesse's graduation wore his school colors too. You got to get in the spirit of it. That's the deal. That graduation, the high school graduation, both sides of the football field, the stands were full, and I mean full. And then there were people sitting down the track. It was a big graduation. The one the next night had 1,300 students, and it was in the stadium where the California Angels play their spring training. So that was the biggest graduation I ever saw. Anyway, Wade says, I'm going to elementary school tomorrow. I'm walking through the halls and then the picnic. All right, should be a good day for a picnic. Should be a lot of fun. Business first, Brian. I have to agree, buddy. It's business first. You got to pay the bills. You got to put food on the table for the kids. Bill Mill Gaming. I'm sorry, but he said that I found the schedules very different. Cool. You're right. Read up on it, and we will talk about it tomorrow night. There's a lot of interesting things to do. Back to Charlotte and the qualifying today. Junior qualified 18th. There is talk around, and I hear talk around, and I hope this is not the case, that some people think that Junior is a little skittish, that Junior is a little cautious right now because he's afraid of another concussion. He's afraid of another wreck and maybe ruining his health, forever. That can happen so easily. A head injury can change your life. I speak from experience. In 1987, I was fixing a garage door in our old house. Big old heavy wooden garage door, and one of the metal springs snapped. And the edge of the thing snapped and fell and hit me right down about where this logo is on my cap. Almost knocked me out. I thought I was fine. About a month later, we're watching the NBA playoffs one night, and boom, I'm out. I'm gone. I have a massive seizure because I guess fluid had built up and all like that. Ever since then, I've had epilepsy. I don't have big seizures. I've only ever had 2 massive ones, but I have minor ones all the time. And I'm on medication for it. So, a head injury can change your life. Like I said, it's been 30 years, and I speak from experience. Wade says, "What do you think if Sonoma was the last NASCAR race of the year in a couple of years? Probably won't ever happen because they can't get a big enough crowd in the place. The last NASCAR race I can always see will always be down in Miami because Homestead, for one, they can count on the weather being good there in November, and because you wouldn't want to have a rain out on the final day and just have to give up that race to like a Monday afternoon start. So that's probably always going to be there. But I would not mind, and a lot of people feel the same way I do. I'd like to see Sonoma one day in the chase, a road race in the chase. And that time of the year, the weather up there is beautiful. And, you know, so I got to tell you. Let's see. It says, no caps, please, except for me. I'm allowed. Right on, boss lady. Brian said, I asked my sister this question. She did not know what's more important, family or education. Family. You can survive. You can survive. You may not do well without an education, but without a family, you're almost nothing. I don't say you're almost nothing, but it's very hard. Family takes care of you. Anyway, but that's a question we probably shouldn't talk yet. That's tough. We're getting to theology or whatever. Spencer says more than 20 minutes in already. That's right, Spencer. I can rattle it off, can't I? Spencer, when you get to Sonoma and when we get up to 7, you got to come see us. You know, we're in the top row of 7C. You got to sit with us, man, and yak because, you know, we will chew your ear off, buddy. And I can't wait to see you there. Spencer's a good guy. If you ever run into Spencer, he is on it. He's on all the time. He's one of those guys who's like, you know, if you like the knob on your amplifier all the way up to 10. Spencer's like that with life, man. I think that's how he feels about life, and he's always does the best thing for us. You know, I like it. Spencer's a good guy. Without family, what would you do with your life? Good point. Good point. You know, you go find a family, even if you have a family of friends. Chew my ear off. You know what that means, buddy. It means yak, 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 yak. Anyway. Wade says TwitchCon. All right, Wade, is better VidCon or TwitchCon? I've never been to either one. I cannot comment. The guys go to TwitchCon. Last year they were at TwitchCon in San Diego, and we're down there for 3 days. Did the Autism Walk the same weekend down in San Diego. They had a good time with that. So sounds like a good thing. This year it's in Long Beach. They'll be there for that one too. So that'll be fun. Spencer, I'm liking games too. Let's talk about the race last weekend, the All-Star race. Somebody pointed out early on Monday morning on the morning drive, you know, the NASCAR XM radio show, that as soon as somebody got out in clean air, like whoever was leading coming out of turn 1 on lap 1, led that stage. And it's true. Not very exciting. They got to do something with that. First of all, I think there's too many stages to have 4 segments in a 70-lap race. Cars don't have time to fall off. You know, they don't have time to adjust to the track or to the tires to wear or anything like that. They either got to make that race longer, like 90 laps, and run 2 segments, 45 and 45. But 4 segments in a 70-lap race. Most exciting thing of the race last weekend was the race leading up, the qualifying race leading up, when Trevor Bayne almost got turned, and you could see his hands moving inside that car. He saved it off the wall. He saved it out of the grass, and then straightened that thing and went out and went and kept going straight. Probably one of the greater saves I have ever seen a guy make. It was incredible. He went one way, then he saved it to go the other way, kept his foot in the gas, kept the wheels pointing the direction you want to go. I mean, that was the super, hey, Jeffrey, how are you? That was the super example of when you get in a skid in a car, the advice you get, when it is right, is turn your wheels in the direction you want to go. Turn your steering wheel and your front wheels in the direction you wanted to be going, because the back end of the car, when it straightens out, you want it to start pushing you back in the same direction. So that's the deal. And that's what Trevor Bayne was doing. If you get a chance to find that on YouTube or something like that and slow it down, you'll see exactly what he did. Jeffrey House, I got 1 day of school left. Right on, brother. Right on. 1 day of school. We used to love summer vacation, man. It was great. It was great. Somebody said, Boss Lady says, I like the stages gives young drivers a chance they may not normally receive. I agree with that too, but in the All-Star race, there were too many of them. Who knows? Who knows? Anything beyond says, yay, 1,000 subs. Right on. That's the boys. That's Boss Lady. That's the three of them working together on this thing, basically 7 days a week to make it happen, you know? Even though they're not live streaming on the weekends, they're in here editing. They're making videos. They're editing, putting together packages, things, out making appearances, planning things that they're going to go to and all like that. So they give it their all. They really do, and I'm very proud of the effort that they put into it. It's a labor of love, and when you find something you love, you got to do it, because then you never work another day in your life, right? And it says, anyone else notice that the Xfinity Series 2018 schedule has 3 road courses before the playoffs? That's one thing I really like in the Xfinity Series. I love the road courses. Road America, Mid-Ohio, great tracks. Absolutely great tracks. I wish the Cup Series would go there every once in a while. You know, every once in a while they should go there and spread the love around a little bit. You know, I don't know if you have to go to Pocono twice in 7 weeks. You know, I'm sure that's the arrangement they have and all like that. But I'd sure like to see some new tracks show up on the schedule every once in a while. Even if you do a rotating thing and you go every third year, do Mid-Ohio, Road America, or something like that. Or, you know, Sears Point, you know, do something like that. That would be fun. But anyway, anything beyond? Did anyone hear the news about Charlotte 2018? Yes, we did. And that's what one of the things we're going to talk about tomorrow night. Anything, get out there and study the schedule that's posted online. We'll yak about it tomorrow night. Talk about all the changes, why some of them are important, why some of them are kind of disappointing, like moving the Talladega race from number 6 to number 5. I like the idea of you're done in Dega. That would be fun. Anyway, Jeff House says, this is strict. Yes, it is. You have to be strict, buddy, because it's the way you have to run everything. You have to be strict, but that's the way it is. You know, that's the way it is. B-Mill Gaming, Monster Energy Cup Series needs more road courses. I agree. That's a pretty good hashtag. My God, looks like you dropped a Scrabble board there, buddy. But no, for the race coming up this weekend, one thing you got to be concerned about is the National Weather Service is kind of giving it an iffy weather report for both Saturday and Sunday. There's a lot of green on the radar, if you know what I mean. And who knows? They might get it delayed. Hopefully, they don't have to push it back until Monday. I mean, thankfully, we have Monday off as a holiday. But a lot of people have to travel that day, may not be able to stay for the race. The boys will be there because they're not going to fly out until Tuesday. But you have to watch the weather. I'm sure they'll get it in. One thing about Charlotte, of course, has got lights. If you got to start that thing at 9 o'clock at night, wouldn't be the first time NASCAR did that. So, what can you say? They said, well, rain, it can kill you in sporting events. Yes, it can. Yes, it can. Especially if you're sitting out there trying to watch it. I'm watching baseball last night, and I forgot where it was, man, but it was pouring. And I mean just pouring, and the umpires are saying, oh, come on, let's play. And it's like, dudes, you can barely see, but whatever. Jeff House says, I hate rain sometimes. I used to feel that way, but not anymore because, we went through 5 years of drought here in California, buddy, and things dried up. got brittle, bad for fires and things like that. So, when we get rain, we are grateful for it, and you just got to get it when you can get it. That would be good. Texas Outlaw, I love the snow. Good, good. Some people do. Personally, myself, I like the beach better. I like the beach better. Anyway, somebody here is getting banned. That's a shame. That's a shame. You shouldn't have to do that. I mean, all we're doing is having a good time. Raining so much, nothing. That's right. 40% chance of rain in Charlotte on Sunday. 40% is not bad. 40 is better than 60 or 70, right? Sunday night. Oh my God. What can you say? Well, we'll see. We'll see. What can you say? Like I said, back to the race. I'm looking forward to it. It's a long race. It's one of those races where if you're really a fan, it doesn't seem that long. If let's say you're trying to get one of your friends interested in NASCAR racing, have them come over to see a race, maybe that's not the one, because that's a long time to commit, to have somebody who's never seen one commit. Maybe they'll like it right away. Maybe they'll be like, well, they don't know. Different people like different things. You never know. So whatever. Yeah, Spencer says, I never get snow here in California, but I know you do in the mountains right above where you live, Spencer, because I've seen it. In fact, we were coming back from Arizona on Sunday, and there was snow still up in the mountains above Palm Springs, where you can take the aerial tram of about 10,000 feet. The snow was still up there. So Magnum 05, Zach, buddy. It's 66 degrees here in Charlotte tonight, and probably humid, probably very humid. And Zach, nice new picture, buddy, looking very sharp. Like it quite a bit. Primus, are you ready for the triple header Sunday? You know I am. We talked about that earlier. Got to get up at 4 o'clock, start with Monaco, move to Indianapolis, and end up in Charlotte. What can you say? It is the race fans, the race junkies, holiday. What can you say? B-Mill says, why do people ignore the rules? Because they're bored and they want to cause trouble. God knows. Jeffrey House, I've never seen a mountain before. Serious? Serious? Jeffrey, where are you at? Where are you visiting us tonight? If you've never seen a mountain before, mountains are wonderful. Zach saying, hello, Dad. How you doing tonight? Zach, I'm great because I'm here, and I know you and Joe are there and having a good time and just enjoying. I want you to be safe and enjoy your weekend there. Magnum 05, what hotel you in? Now, that's a secret. We don't tell because we don't want groupies hanging around beating on the door at 3 in the morning saying, Joseph, open up. We don't want that kind of stuff. So we kind of keep that on the low, but they'll be down at the racetrack. Don't worry about that. Back what we were talking about, it's nice here in northeastern Pennsylvania. Let's go. People don't follow the rules all the time. Primus, have never seen snow. Never? I'm going to turn on the TV. Zach's telling us that Joe and he are going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame tomorrow. NASCAR Hall of Fame right here. It's an awesome place. It's an awesome place. I got to go there a few years ago on Fan Appreciation Day. Not only was it fun, but it was free. And I got to meet both of the Wood brothers. I got to meet both of the Jarretts. It was cool, and see NASCAR vehicles from as old as like the late 40s all the way up to the latest winning car of the Daytona 500, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It's a cool place. It really is cool. There's so much stuff to see. I mean, you could spend easily, if you're a fan, you could easily spend the entire day there. They have things to do. There's a lot of interactive stuff. They have actually like 8 or 9 cars lined up 2 by 2, like a double file restart in front of a big screen, and it's like a virtual experience, but you're actually in a full-size cup car for this thing. I mean, and it's not plastic or anything like this. I mean, it is an actual retired cup car body, chassis, the whole routine, and with this thing in front of you and all like that. And it's a virtual experience kind of thing. That is awesome. And it's worth seeing. Lots of interactive things you could do on your own. There's old movies to see of when they used to race on the sand at Daytona Beach. They'd actually race up and down the beach on the sand in the 50s in NASCAR. And a lot of times these were cars that guys just like took out of their own driveway. They souped them up, drove them down to the racetrack, and drove their cars right on the beach. And that's how a lot of them got started. Minimal helmets, no roll cages, and all. It was amazing. That's how NASCAR got started, actually, in Daytona, racing on the beach. A lot of people know that actually that kind of racing got started in the South. The legend is that it was moonshiners running away from the feds. So they'd soup up their cars, throw all the illegal moonshine in the trunk, and because the cars were souped up, they could outrun the cop cars and wouldn't get caught because, of course, in those days they weren't using helicopters to track cars and things like that. So that's how most of the racing got started in the South. It was outlaws. It was moonshiners trying to outrun the cops, and so they'd soup up their cars and build bigger engines and beef up the suspension so they could ride fast down dirt roads and things like that with all the illegal moonshine in the trunk. So NASCAR kind of has a bad boy history, a bad boy beginning, if you know what I mean. But you got to read about that one day. Find it online. Read about how all that got started. It's an amazing thing. One thing about how the manufacturers got into racing was they'd see people watching the races, and like if a Chevy won the race, business at the Chevy dealers would go up the next day. If Ford won the race, business at the Ford dealers would go up, and all like that. And it used to be like, hey, if you win on Sunday, they come in on Monday. That was the saying in the car dealers. If their brand won the race on Sunday, that people would come in the dealer on Monday. Back in the late 50s, early 60s, when people would buy a car almost every year because they changed the body style every year. And if you wanted to be driving what looked like the newest car on your block, you'd buy a new one every year. Something. But you guys go to Dover. I don't think we don't have any plans to go to Dover yet. What part of get off do you not understand? The get or the off? I don't even know what's going on with that, Spencer, but I don't know what that has to do with this. Anyway, B-Mill Gaming says, NASCAR before was really dangerous, and NASCAR today is really safe with the safer barrier, the head and neck restraints, roll cages, fire suits, helmets, and a lot of other things. I agree, and that's what's cool about it, because unfortunately, a lot of guys used to get killed or they used to get crippled running race cars. And it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a sport. It's not supposed to be where you have to worry that if your husband or your brother or your son is out there racing, or your sister, like in case of Danica, if you have a woman driver, you don't have to worry that they're going to get killed at any moment. You don't have to worry that they could be ruined for life. You want to be confident that they can do as fast as they can. They can do everything they can to have a good time and still survive. You see some of these wrecks a couple of weeks ago. That wreck that Logano and Danica and Almirola were in. Holy, if that thing had happened 40 years ago, 3 people would be dead. That's all I got to say. 3 people would have been dead, especially with all that fire. But the way they designed the cars and the fire suppressant and all like that, and the safety crews around the tracks, if you've never been to a race, those safety crews are parked about every 100 yards around the track. All those cars, all those people there to get that done and to keep those drivers safe. It's an amazing thing to see. They have come a long way. Somebody said, Joe says, it's come a long way. It has, and it's good. JDM has a good point. Says fans complaining about Danica Patrick racing in Cup, but they didn't complain about Shauna Robinson. Let's just say this: one of the Cup drivers the other day after that big race in the wreck in the All-Star race, after seeing Danica's car on fire like it was and slide to the bottom of the track, and to see her just climb right on out of it without a scratch and all like that, he said she's a tough old bird. And you know what? He was right. She's a great driver. She's a great driver. She's 5'1" and probably about 105 pounds, wrestling a 3,200-pound car at 190 miles an hour. You know what? That takes strength and that takes talent. She's a great driver. Anybody who doesn't think that, you've never tried it yourself, she has a heck of a job. Believe me. Those cars are not easy to drive, especially when you're half the size of most of the other drivers, right? So, what can you say? Jeffrey House says, answering who will win at Charlotte, Johnson. Can happen anytime. Jimmy Johnson can always win a race at any time. There isn't a track on the circuit, in my opinion, that Jimmy Johnson cannot win, because in his career, Jimmy Johnson has won on an average of one every 7 starts. One every 7 starts. That's amazing. Some guys never win a race, right? It's amazing. Every 7. That's basically once every 2 months. On an average, in his career, Jimmy Johnson has won a race. That is amazing. Joe says, Danica and inside walls are common. She's taken some hard hits. Can't believe she's walked away from them. It's true. She has taken some vicious hits. One thing she does, and you should remember this, if you're ever in a car and you're heading for something hard, take your hands off the steering wheel. Do this. Cross yourself like that. Because if the steering column comes forward, if it breaks and comes forward, you don't want it to go through your chest. Also, if you're holding onto the wheel and you hit something hard and that wheel jerks like that, you can break your wrists because you're holding on too hard. And you see if she's about to hit something, you'll see her do that. She does this, and now some of the other Cup drivers are doing it. I've seen them on the in cars. They do this too. They've learned from her. That's how you protect yourself. You know, there are things in cars that will break. So you got to be careful. Anyway, Jeffrey Hall says, what has the world come to these stupid terror attacks? Is madness, Jeffrey. It's just madness and sadness. But you can't let it ruin your life. You can't let it get you down. And you can't let these people win. You cannot give up to them. You cannot. You can't go hide in your life. You can't quit doing the things that you want to do. You can't quit doing the things you want to see and all like that. Because quite frankly, heck, you could slip in your own bathtub and hit your head and that would be the end of it. Life throws you curves all the time. You know, it's just the way that's it. Anyway, Spencer says, yeah, for some of the stupidest reasons too. That's true. It's true. It's hard to understand. It's hard to understand, but not everybody is the same. Not everybody has an education. You know, a lot of these guys who do this, a lot of these people who get indoctrinated and all, they can't read. They never went to school. They just believe anything that's told them, and so whatever. What can you say? And it's a sad thing. JC says, have you ever seen a movie called Christine, Mr. Lombard? I've seen little bits of it. It's like, I'm not quite sure. Let's just say it wouldn't be the first on my Redbox list or whatever they call it when you go get the videos. I just stream things now and all like that, but no, it wouldn't be the first on my list. The car was cool, though. The car was cool. If they just had the car and left it alone as the car was cool. But no, the rest is little. It's like, what was that movie that just came out recently? Monster Trucks, where the guy's actually got some sort of slime monster under the hood of his truck. Really? You know, it's like, okay. I mean, I don't know who it was who was able to talk a film studio into giving him the money to make that movie. But whatever. Some guy's a salesman. Zach says the car is a 58th Plymouth. Zach says it. I know it's right because Zach knows his cars. Actually, we had a 57 Plymouth when I was a kid, Zach. 57 Plymouth station wagon with the third row seat. Faces to the back. We had that for 3 years. And then a 60 Galaxy wagon. Remember that car too? But we had a 57 Plymouth. If Zach says it's a 58th Plymouth, believe me, he probably knows how many cubic inches are under the hood too. Trust me. He knows them. But nice. Very good, Zach. But no, it's Monster Trucks was such an awesome movie. Really? Really? I mean, do I want to waste 2 hours of my life watching that? Be good to me. Don't trick me. Be nice to me. I'm an old guy. I don't have many hours left, okay? So don't let me waste 2 hours watching something that's terrible, you know? And Zach says, I've driven a 56 Plymouth Elder two-door. That is cool. I've seen it. Awesome car. Zach will be back at the museum next week again, driving for the classic cars. You should see some of this stuff he gets during. The car movies. There's a movie called Gone in 60 Seconds. The original Gone in 60 Seconds, where this guy's a car thief and like one of his things is that he can steal a car and he's gone within 60 seconds. It's kind of a fun movie because there's no special effects or anything. It was maybe made like in the late 60s or early 70s. So it's no special effects. So it's all just real stunts with real cars. And it's pretty cool. They made a remake a few years ago with Nicolas Cage. Save your money. Okay, that's all I got to say. Save your money about that one. But the original Gone in 60 Seconds was pretty cool. Brian wants to know, what's your dream car? Quite frankly, Brian, if I put the key in it and it starts and I can go down the road in it, I'm happy with it, quite frankly. Now, I have a 2010 Jeep Wrangler Sport, two-door Jeep, the Islander model, which was only made for 1 year. It's kind of like this gorgeous electric blue with the black rag top, and it runs like a top, man. I just love that thing. I beat it to death. I've run it in the surf at Pismo Beach. I've run it on the freeways. 227,000 miles on it already, and like I said, it runs like a top. I love that car. Put the roof down in the summer, take it to the beach, run it around town the rest of the year, take it to and from work. It's great. It's great. Zach says you have a rare Jeep. It's true. It's true. They only made it for 1 year. And it's a lot of fun. It's got 3.8 liter V6 in it. It's a little thirsty around town, but it's pretty good on the freeway. And that's what I like. Zach says that he loves his 2005 Dodge Magnum SXT. Hey, me too, Zach. All right. I got to drive that thing today to be able to take these guys to the airport. It was a lot of fun. Spencer says, anything rare is special. You know what, Spencer? That's mostly true. That's mostly true. Let's see. Evan, I drive quarter midgets in real life at Michigan. The biggest, most powerful thing I've ever driven was a street stock at a quarter mile. Serious? That's amazing. That's amazing. Those things, believe me, they'll jerk your head back. That's pretty good. You're a lucky guy to be able to do something like that. Zach's response is yes, and Zach should know. That is cool. That is a lot of cool. But no, that is a great car. Magnum 5, that's one big heavy car, 4,000 pounds, probably rear-wheel drive. That is correct. That is correct. You know, front-wheel drive is all right for little cars and all like that, but if you anything that needs power, you've got to have the power going to the rear wheels to push. You can't pull yourself along. You have to push. You know, that's where you get your greatest thrill. The Jeep, of course, is two-wheel drive normally, but you pull a lever, it goes into four-wheel drive. It even has something called a super low four, where you stop, you shove it into super low four. It's probably got a top speed of about 20 miles an hour, but it will climb hills up to about a 40-degree angle. It'll climb stairs. You can roll over telephone poles. I mean, it's It's amazing. You don't use it much, but it's super powerful, and a lot of fun. Joseph Feza, I haven't seen you all night. Glad to see you in. 2016 Dodge van, a lot of torque. Front wheel drive, right? Those do have a lot of torque. They're pretty good. 283 horses. 283 is very powerful these days. A lot of power. Is it the commercial version, or you have it a passenger van with 3 rows, so you can take your buddies and run off and have a good time down at the beach or whatever. But yeah, pretty good. JMB Productions. Sorry you're late. Hey, that's all right. That's all right. I'm glad you got to stop in for a few minutes while we're here. You know, we're having a good time tonight, just yakking, talking about the race last weekend, which is, hello, snoozer, the race that we're looking forward to this weekend. And JMB, if you can get in tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, the same time, we are going to be talking about the 2018 Cup Car schedule. A lot of changes, a lot of changes to it, and it'll be interesting. Zach brings up that I used to have a Dodge van, a 1966 A100, where basically the engine, the motor, was in between the driver and the passenger seat because you sat right up at the front of the vehicle. It went straight down. There was no motor in front of it like they build the vans these days. And so if you went to work on it, you'd have to get inside and open up the hood between the front seat and the passenger seat. And if you wanted to take 3 people, they had to sit on the motor. On the motor cover. That was the way it was. That was a lot of fun. That was a fun little car. I drove all the way from Texas in that thing one time. It was great. What was the most boring race you've ever seen? Pretty much anything at New Hampshire. And that All-Star race, for what I saw of it last week, sounded like it was boring. The 600 last year, when one guy led 96% of the laps, boring. I hate to say it, but it was. Spencer, Dad totals his expedition. Is he all right? I hope he's okay. I mean, that's right. That doesn't sound so good. I hope he's all right. You know, my cousin got his first 2014 Ford Focus RS. There's some little cars like the Focus where they soup up the engines. They got little tiny, bread box size engines, like 1 liter. But they supercharge them and all like that, and they get, because those little cars are light, they get a lot of pep out of them and all like that. I mean, they're not drag racers or anything like that, but they, for zipping around town, especially in places where the streets are narrow, like Europe, they make cars little over there because there's all these old towns, the streets are narrow. You couldn't be driving around big Dodge vans and things like that. You'd just be dragged. You'd be scraping the doors off of them. But what can you say? JDM says, most boring race he ever saw was Dale Jarrett won at Michigan in a caution-free race in 1999. I would bet that's probably true. That's probably true. Probably true. JMB says, I have autism like Joe and Zach, and I'm a big fan. You know what, buddy? Autism is nothing that should stop you or anything like that. Autism doesn't mean that means you learn different. People say, oh, learning deficiencies. No. People with autism, they learn differently. But some of the smartest people I know are in the autism spectrum. A lot of college professors are in the autism spectrum because they focus on one thing that they really like. They become experts in it, and they make a lot of money, and they have great credentials because they have focused on what they really love, and they could care less about a lot of things and all like that, and they're geniuses, genius level people. Autism spectrum goes from people who are severely autistic, who have difficulty learning, and it's unfortunate, and then you go to people who are super learners. You have people who never forget anything. You have people who can remember every single word of every conversation they've ever been in. It's amazing. A lot of people sing in their head. They sing a record into themselves in their head. Some people can sing entire albums in order and know all the lyrics. They're in this. People like that sometimes are in the spectrum. They're real good at math. If there are movies like that, autism, believe me, it's just
Doesn't mean you're deficient. It means you learn different. That's all. JMB, I'm very smart. Will be a senior in high school and graduate 2018. Right on, right on. I'm proud of you. Joe and Zach graduated from high school with a regular diploma. They didn't get any extra help. They homeschooled for a few years. Boss lady got them ready. Got them ready. We sent them off to high school. They had a good time. Got their regular diploma. They both have driver's license, and they're part owners in a business that, quite frankly, we are very proud of right now, and it seems to be doing pretty good. And I'm quite frankly proud of Joe. I'm proud of Zach and Boss Lady, because they all work hard and they make this thing look good. All I'm doing, I'm just the rookie in here filling in when I can, so that we have something going on. But what is this? Evan says, at a hard crash one time, I clipped a car and went barrel rolling into a wall in a fiery mess. My God. I'm glad you got out of that. I hope you got out of it without any scars or any burns. That sounds terrible. That sounds awful. But I'm glad you survived it, buddy. I'm sure you're a lot more cautious these days. Anyway, Zach says, it's been 5 years since Joseph and I graduated from high school. That's right, 5 years. You guys are getting old. That's all I got to say. You're getting old. Brian says, I thought I'd let you know your sons helped me through some bad times. I want to say thank you. Hey, you know what? Thank you, Brian, and thank you for saying that. They are good guys. I mean, if I had to get stuck in an elevator with anybody, it'd be with my own family, because I love them all to death. They're good guys. We all laugh. We have a good time all the time. We laugh. We have fun. We watch movies together. We play online board games like Quiplash or Drawful. It's great. It's great stuff. Bill, between it is. It's a lot of fun. Says, I hate American history. I would rather learn U.S. history. Okay. Texas Outlaw have mild autism. So, so what? Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody has some sort of deal. Everybody has some sort of thing. For one thing, I'm super good with numbers and all like that, and yet I cannot read an instruction manual to save my life. For years and years and years, when it comes time to program a VCR, I have to get Boss Lady to do it or Joe or Zach to do it. I've never been able to figure out those crazy things, and yet I'm very good at what I do with my career in reading technical manuals for architecture and things like that. God knows, everybody has some sort of crazy thing, that they could do. Autism gives you a channel to be good at some things. So don't ever think that autism, anybody, if you're not in the spectrum, people who are in the spectrum, it's just like you and me, guys. They're just like, I'm in the spectrum, quite frankly. And, we all like cereal. We all like watching funny movies. We all like to eat candy. And hamburgers, and we like to watch racing. We like to watch TV, and just be out on a nice day. So everybody's the same, quite frankly. If you're a happy person in your heart, if the world is, if the glass is half full to you, hey, this guy Julian Martin, you can take a walk, buddy. Somebody's got to time me out. Thank you from my moderator, JC. Good job. Clowns, just clowns. People with hate. We do not need people with hate. Okay, that's not what this is all about. It says it's a shame. It's a shame. Anyway, LA Dodgers are in third place. That's okay. It's a long season. At the All-Star break last year, you might remember they were 9 games out behind the Giants at the All-Star break last year, and you see that they won the division by the end of the year. So, no big deal. It's early in the year. JDM idiot number count number 2. That's probably true. Suspension says, I want to be in my own world. There's no such thing, Spencer. You got to learn to get along in this world, buddy. It's a good world. It is a good world. Just deal with it. It's cool. There's lots of cool people having lots of fun. Dodgers will win the West. You're right. I think so. They're so deep. I mean, they're so deep. Nobody has the depth that they do. You know what I mean? It's anyway. But what can you say? And Boss Lady said, it doesn't matter. Right on, moderators. Moderators, I thank you all for joining us and helping Boss Lady take care of things. And, that's just, it's great. I'm happy that you're here. And I hope to see you tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, remember, tomorrow night, we're going to talk the 2018 schedule and then everything else that comes along. You know what I mean? But let's make that our plan to talk about that tomorrow night. 2008 Cup schedule. If you got any other things that you want to talk about, somebody's going to time this guy out again. Thank you. But you want to talk about tomorrow night? We'll do that. Just bring it up. Be prepared. Be here. Bring your A game. Put some air in the tires and tune up the engine, and we'll all be here tomorrow night for another chat. All right. Anyway, I thank you all for coming. Zach, Joe, I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, I'll give you a call on the phone. Anyway, good night, y'all. This was a lot of fun.